Hey guys, Reddit here, and we are back with another SCP reading. So, today we are going to start with SCP-68, the wire figure. So, let's begin. SCP-68, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. SCP-68 is to be kept away from any metals in an electrically resistant box, preferably made from Teflon and rubber. Said box is to be stored in Security Locker 26 at Site 11. Key is kept with Dr. Blank. Any requests for testing are to be directed to him. Description: SCP-68 is a wire stick figure, 9.8 centimeters tall, made of an unknown metal. The figure is composed of a single wire looping back to the center. The wire itself appears to have been bent numerous times in multiple places. When an electric current is introduced to SCP-68, it becomes animate, moving about on its own. SCP-68's joints are where normal human beings would be. Once activated, SCP-68 begins to search for any metallic metal. Once the metal is found, SCP-68 will begin to knead it and pull a thin strip of metal off. 68 will then construct another figure similar to itself. The newly created figure will begin to knead the remaining metal alongside the original, creating new figures which in turn produce more replicas. SCP-68 will move onto its next stage after one of two requirements are met. The first is when there are no more metals within range with enough mass to produce another figure. The other is when an upper limit of 102 replicas are created. When either of these events occur, all figures will converge at one location and begin forming themselves into as big a figure as possible. With a maximum of 102 minifigures, the resulting figure reaches 2 meters in height. SCP-068 situates itself at the intersection of the torso, arms, and head. Gamma, beta, and theta waves begin emitting from SCP-68 after this union. 068 will then begin to search for metals, again attempting to create more figures, only scaled up to whatever size 068 is currently at. These replicas do not emit brainwaves like 68 does. If 068 is not at its maximum size limit at this, it will continue to create and add more figures into itself until the limit is reached. Once it has reached the second stage and there are no metals available from which to construct figures, 068 returns to its dormant state after 4 minutes and 32 seconds of activity. Material surrounding the original figure must be melted away in order to retrieve 068. SCP-068 is capable of kneading and manipulating any metal presented to it, regardless of its properties. It also appears to be impervious to any attempts of damage and destruction. Copies of 068, however, have the same properties and vulnerabilities as whatever metal they were originally constructed from. SCP-068 can detect metals hidden from view through an as-of-yet unknown process. While 068 will not attempt to reach metals that are too difficult to get to, it will tear through anything that is soft enough for its limbs to penetrate. What is considered soft enough changes depending on what 068 is shaped from at the time. Addendum A. A proposal has been made to use 068 to dispose of dangerous metal-based SCPs. B. Please see attached document 68A. Document 68A. The proposal to use 68 for the disposal of dangerous metal-based SCPs has been denied, seeing as how many, if not all, of our dangerous metal-based SCPs are also invincible. The only thing we'd have is a bunch of invulnerable wire figures running about. Honestly, who even thought this up? Dr. Blank. So, that is 068, a wire man that creates other wire men to become a bigger wire man. Now, we're on to SCP-69. Nice. Second chance. SCP-69. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-69 is currently impersonating former Foundation Agent Blank and is housed in Humanoid Containment Area Site 06-3. SCP-69 is to be provided with any reasonable requested item and/or material so long as such request does not violate Foundation security protocols. that last bit is crossed out. As 069 is currently on suicide watch, all requests it makes must be approved by no fewer than 2 level 3 personnel. If 069 attempts to breach containment, it must be subdued using non-lethal methods. If 069 dies, undercover agents are to be instructed to monitor reports of incidents in which individuals appear to have escaped certain death, and 069 is to be recontained as soon as possible. Note, despite the fact that 069 is identical in all ways to Agent Blank, it remains an active SCP in containment and is not to be treated as a Foundation employee. Any requests for classified information are to be denied, and visits from former co-workers without proper authorization are not allowed. Description: SCP-069 is a presumed humanoid entity of variable appearance and gender. Through an unknown ability, whenever 069 is left alone with a recently deceased human body, the body will disappear, and 069 will take on the appearance, mannerisms, and knowledge of the recently dead individual. Through extensive experimentation, it has been shown that 069 is completely indistinguishable from individual it impersonates, matching the original individual's fingerprints, DNA, and data expunged with nearly perfect precision. 069 retains no knowledge of its abilities or former impersonations. 069 responds normally to injury and pain, but if killed will rapidly decay into dust regardless of any preservation attempts. SCP-69 will then re-emerge at the site of the most recent human death. There is no known maximum range to this effect, and so far has been observed in jumps of up to 675 kilometers. SCP-69 can impersonate a single individual indefinitely. However, it will get an overbearing and overriding urge to get their life in order, including but not limited to resolving any outstanding financial or personal obligations, visiting extended family, updating their will and testament, and other acts of closure. When requested, SCP-69 professes no driving motivation other than a desire to straighten out their lives in the event of unforeseen injury or death. SCP-69 first came to the Foundation's attention on blank blank 1990 blank, following reports of one John M. A. blank city firefighter who miraculously emerged alive from a 3-alarm building fire in which 2 other firefighters and 11 civilians perished. Undercover agents attached to local authorities were notified of a possible SCP when reports emerged that the firefighters' equipment had been damaged beyond recognition, and that it had been deemed nearly impossible for the firefighter to emerge unscathed. Approximately 3 weeks later, then presumed John M. responded to another large-scale building fire, during which he entered the smoke-filled room alone and was never found. A single civilian was rescued from the building, again nearly unharmed despite the heavy smoke reported within the building. SCP-69 was designated the following day and rendered into Foundation custody by members of Mobile Task Force XI-3, Body Snatchers. Addendum 1. On 2000 and blank, Agent Blank, a guard on duty assigned to SCP-69, was killed during a containment breach of SCP-Blank and subsequently impersonated by SCP-69. Although initially in denial after being informed of its identity, it has been mostly cooperative since its impersonation of a mid-level Foundation employee. Contingencies for the use of deceased Foundation employees for future use in SCP-69 is under consideration. On blank blank 2000 blank, SCP-69 attempted to commit suicide after junior researcher accidentally informed it that the family of Agent Blank had been told that Agent Blank was dead, and of their subsequent reactions. Due to the massive cost of possibly having to recontain SCP-69, strict suicide watch measures are to be implemented. Plans to use other deceased Foundation employees as possible impersonation targets for SCP-69 have been suspended. So that is SCP-69, the perfect impersonator. So perfect that it doesn't even know it's impersonating you. Pretty good. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because why not? It's free. And anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, Bye.